brain candy.
Brain candy.
Candy for your brain.
Oh.
Episode 843. Sarah did me a solid today.
You think it's a solid, but it feels like it's doing me a solid.
It's what God intended.
Yeah, I think so.
The deal is that you've probably noticed the last couple Susie episodes, they sucked. Let's just say it.
This is insane. She says this. Okay.
And then I watch our clips and I'm like, I cannot, not that I'm competing with Sarah, but like that's the feeling I have where I'm like, I can't compete with this girl. She is just a monster of the podcasting world.
No, I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here. No, it is like a wild stallion that needs to be tamed, and you are the wrangler and the
yeah.
Like,
well, even if that were true, the wrangler is the boring piece of shit that's like everyone hates, and everyone wants a wild stallion.
You're out of your mind.
So
no, I was a bad example. That was just, I don't know what, I was like staring at a book about horses or something. Like, I don't know why that came to my head. Thinking about Black Beauty.
Here's what she did though, because like it used to be Susie's episode was always Monday, Sarah's was Thursday. But then like, because you went to camp and we got kind of a different schedule going because we took a minute off, it got reversed.
Yes.
And this is the episode we record first on our recording day. And it had begun to be you. And
right. Like I'm Monday. And everybody knows you can't start Monday with candy. That's insane. You got to start it brainy.
I love the idea that everyone knows that.
Yeah, they do. Everyone
knows.
Everybody knows. Knowledge. That's crazy. But Thursday, you can bust out that candy.
That is, I mean, that's actually.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It does make sense.
All right. So she switched with me, which was really nice of her.
Which is like,
so if
you go first instead of me. It's crazy.
Then what you're experiencing is the slow death of our livelihood. Okay, so how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I really am, though, because I have been out there just being social.
Unbelievable.
And I know.
Yeah.
And
I'm so, like, not only just excited for you and then proud of you, but also just, like, happy that our listeners can see what it looks like when someone takes a chance.
Yeah.
And then, like, it works out great.
Yeah. It was so... Like, okay, this is going to sound silly, but I'm just going to share it. I can remember times when I was a very awkward and just like a teenager with a bunch of social anxiety. I remember those days.
I've seen these photos.
You've seen the photos. And that social anxiety prevented me from doing a lot of the things that I wanted to do. Like, I'll never forget a 4th of July that I stayed home because I had a big old zit on my chin that I had picked at. Like, it just, it was terrible, and I didn't want anybody to see, so I wouldn't go out until it was nighttime. And I could just remember myself, like, missing out on those things or spending too much time caring about what I was going to wear. I had the same kind of attitude or had this aha moment with dating a while back. And now I'm having it with social situations as well.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm getting this opportunity to have a do-over where I'm in these situations that are kind of similar, where I'm going to go hang out with a group that, you know, maybe I only know from water polo practice. That is high school all over again. And will I feel like I fit in? Whatever, you know. And I had this, okay, this is so silly that I'm sharing this, but I am. I had like a bug bite or something on my neck. And I'm telling you, this thing, you could probably see the remnants of it in the video.
Oh, yeah.
But this thing, it could be like irritation from like an ingrown hair or something from the swim cap that I'm wearing, like because it goes under your chin, something like that. But this thing was starting to need to pay me rent. It was getting so big on my neck.
Yeah.
And I had that thought of, well, first of all, it was like the anxiety of people are going to think this is like weird and gross, or they're going to look at it. No, they're not. Nobody gives a fuck. Made me want to like pick at it, but then I didn't. I was like, no, don't do that. But then I had that thought of like, wow, do you remember that time when you stayed home because of something on your face that you thought people were looking at, and I was like, you're not going to do that now. You're going to not give a fuck because so what? You got like a bug bite or a zit or something on your neck. Who gives an actual fuck?
For real.
For real.
Yeah.
And I just had that moment where I talked to little me and was like, go have fun. Who cares?
Yeah, go have fun.
And it is so a thing that like I feel like if anybody who was at that actual event knew that I had any of those thoughts, they'd be like, that's crazy. And why would you ever think that? And I'm like embarrassed to even admit that I had those thoughts. But I think we kind of all do.
We all do, but the other people at the party are definitely not thinking about your neck
not
blemish.
At all. And then I had a moment where after I didn't think about it one time the whole time I was there, and then when I got home and looked in the mirror again, I was like, oh yeah. And I just thought about how I had such a great time and never once thought about the and this, I'm just using this as a little example. There are like 100 things that you like think of. That,
insecurities.
Like, insecurities, you know? And I'm just like, just do who cares? Do the thing.
Do the thing. It's so worth
great.
it.
And it was the most fun ever.
That's so good. And it was like absolutely relatable.
Yeah.
We all have that feeling.
And I was like,
sometimes.
So, yeah, you know, I had that. I remember having that moment, that aha moment with dating where I said, I'm not going to even wear makeup. Like,
I remember that.
Who gives a fuck? I'm going to wear overalls and maybe throw on some mascara and call it a day. And it was freeing. And so this is too.
It is funny. And probably the listeners are listening thinking like, how could somebody that's like, number one, beautiful and smart and funny, but also from the real world and the challenge.
It does sound crazy when you say not the beautiful, smart, and funny part, because I'm just like Regs. Come on. And
yeah. She's Regs, everyone.
Like,
good one.
I appreciate that, but you know.
Okay, we'll just go with it. Like, let's say you
hot
were
hobbies
Regs.
again. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, at minimum, you're well known. People tend to like that.
It does not.
So the average listener is like,
makes sense.
What the hell were you worried about? I'm just like a regular old gal over here listening.
Well, that's what I want people to know is that it does not matter, because your brain, I try to tell people this all the time, your brain cannot compare its emotions. It's the areas that are activated and the hormones that are getting dumped to somebody else's situation. It does not,
it's not
go,
relative.
Oh, hang on a sec. We don't need to release all of that adrenaline or cortisol because you are on television. Yeah, right. Our brain doesn't do that. It just goes, you're a human and you're going to be nervous because you're meeting new people.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
Here it is.
Just
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Like, it can't,
I'm proud of you.
I do have to imagine that perhaps the getting rid of maybe some of those other hormones made these things a little easier.
Oh,
what do you think?
I'm sure.
I mean,
well, it definitely changes things.
It does. It does. It changes something.
Yeah, because there aren't a lot of those motivations about like mating and shit. Your body's like on retired. It's in
Right.
Boca.
It's like, I don't care what you look like,
Retired.
girl. Yeah. I was like, I haven't shaved the armpits in a minute.
Yes.
Who
This
gives
is
a fuck?
what I strive for.
Yeah,
Like, I
just
can't
wait, guys.
Yeah,
Menopause.
someday.
Menopause. That is the gift after the curse.
Well, this gal is relying on something more superficial, and that is Thrive
Well,
Cosmetics.
don't get me wrong. I'm relying on that too.
Don't
We're
get
not
me wrong.
crazy
She
over
did
here.
mention mascara moments ago.
Yes, exactly. Because that's
How
what I have
about
on.
that video you made? I almost went out and bought Thrive, and I was like, wait, I already have it.
Isn't that great? I really
'Cause-
wanted people to see what the before and after is like. Because
Did you
if
get
you
a lot of response from that? Because I'll be mad if you didn't. I know
you
my
know,
best
I
friend
should
Kelly
have
did.
posted it as a reel because I did, but because it was in my story, I
Kelly
should
just
post-
wrote, wowza, my friend Kelly.
Yeah,
Because or wowee, because it's
Yeah.
just unbelievable when you
Yeah.
look at it.
and that's it. And when you have blonde eyelashes, you throw a little throw a little bit of that
Yes.
on.
Sarah put it on
Wow.
one eye and revealed
Yes.
both eyes, and it was just like two different people on the same face.
Right.
Thrive.
Yes.
Making days.
Yeah. And surprisingly, it stays on when I'm in the pool.
That's what's really weird about it, because it
It's only hot water, I think, that activates it.
Because when you
So-
wash it off, it's not hard to get off,
No, not at all.
which you would think would mean in a pool is trouble.
No
It's
trouble.
not.
I get out and I'm like, oh, this looks
I
great.
still look hot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, their products are outstanding. They have the new Empower Matte Precision Lipstick Crayon, which I love. All the shades are outstanding. They have 12 different ones. They're all named after gals. You know how I feel about Linda. They have the Brilliant Eye Brightener, and their products are amazing. They give money to communities and help with every purchase, which we love as well. Refresh your everyday look with Thrive Cosmetics, beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 10% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/braincandy. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/braincandy for 10% off your first order. If you forget our codes, you can always check on our website, thebraincandypodcast.com. We love you when you do that. All right, let's get going, shall we? Okay, so this was not a 30 for 30, but I watched a documentary on Max that was about Pete Rose, who's a baseball player.
Oh, it keeps coming up in my For You.
Oh, well, if you're not into baseball or weird like me, you maybe wouldn't want to watch the whole thing, but it made me want to debate something on the air with you.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with him, he's legendary because, number one, he broke the I guess it's a hits record. How many hits he got? He beat like Babe Ruth and
Okay. So
who's
not
the other
home
guy?
runs, but
Yeah,
Hits.
I watched that documentary too about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. But this, I think, was about hits, and it wasn't Babe Ruth. And then there was another guy. Who cares? The point is, he's really great. He was an outstanding baseball player, but he eventually was kicked out of baseball for betting.
oh.
And so now he's like in his 80s and he is constantly campaigning to be in the Hall of Fame, but they won't let him in because the Hall of Fame instituted a rule after Pete Rose that was like, if you can't play baseball, like if you've been banned from baseball, you cannot be in the Hall of Fame.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, great, because I disagree.
Because you have to make one rule, and what if I don't want any creepy pedophiles going in there? What?
That's what you, like, what? That's not even on the table.
I feel like
So
it
you feel
is.
like
If
you
you
have
like
to
get kicked
be
out of the league for doing something that's like
morally
you're a
reprehensible.
murderer, yeah, something like that.
Well, you could do that on a case-by-case basis.
But you are the best. I don't want those people arguing that
Okay.
what's a worse crime,
Interesting. I have
because
not heard
then
this argument.
it's going to be, oh, this guy is I don't know. I feel like if you did something that was in violation and got you kicked out of the league, then we shouldn't be, in a way, building a statue to you. Like,
okay.
That's my argument.
I like that. Okay. And I feel like there's plenty of people that would agree with you that the Hall of Fame should not just represent baseball excellence, but also character.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that's a part of baseball.
Okay.
And all sports.
Fair. My issue is that Pete Rose only bet that his team would win.
Oh. So. I don't like... Now, see? That's different. I feel like you should be allowed to bet that your team will win.
Me
100%
too.
Definitely should make that allowed.
Absolutely.
That incentivizes winning even more. Come on.
That's what I say.
Come on.
And you know how my favorite movie, Field of Dreams, they talk about Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was kicked out of baseball because he didn't just bet. He fixed a game he was in to lose.
Yeah, that cheating. Unfair. Get out of here.
And not honorable. And, well, even though he was great as well, that's the way it goes. You don't get in.
Yeah.
You're ruining baseball, but Pete didn't.
I feel like betting on your own team
that makes you want to win.
Now, listen, I do recognize how hypocritical it is of me to be saying this where after 30 seconds ago or however long ago, I was just saying that
I think
there
this
should be
can
no
fit with
gray
your
area.
argument. Because this is about morality, and there's nothing immoral about saying I'm going to win and I'll show you.
People are going to be like, well, betting is betting, but...
Betting's legal now.
It
wasn't then.
It wasn't then.
No.
Okay.
But he wasn't... Oh, wait, he definitely did go to jail. I was going to say,
you went to jail for betting on your own team? And I would imagine this is... before they were paying the big bucks to these players.
Right. I'm sure he made a real nice living, but
but not like now with not with sponsorships and ad deals and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't like that rule, and they should change that. You should be allowed to bet on your own team because in a way it feels like you're investing in your team.
Yes. And he talks in the documentary. He's a real character, and I love him because it's very much in keeping with like my family's sort of trashy, like sensibility. But he is offensive in a lot of ways. Like with women. Like his friend's wife came over and he was like, "Hey, how you doing? You look good." And she's like, "You look good too." And he's like, "I still see you still got your melons." Like he's that kind of guy.
Oh my God.
And she's like 60.
Pete Rose.
You know what I mean? Like he's that kind of guy. He's in his 80s. He's just that guy. I don't mind it, but a lot of people would be real upset about that.
Oh gosh.
But he makes a very good point, which is that a lot of people who are sort of excluded from the Hall of Fame are then inducted after they die because like once you die, you're forgiven. And he's like, I would like to be forgiven before I die.
Yeah, like who?
People I don't know, but he said this person, they weren't allowed in. Then they die, and then they get in.
I want to know what the nature of those crimes were. If it's something that is not, I don't like prohibition shit. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah, because it
like
is
things that
old-timey.
are allowed today.
Yeah.
Then I say, let him in. Who cares? And he should do that while he's still alive.
And the commissioner of baseball says, like, he thinks just because you can't play baseball, that's because you're competing in active games. That should not determine whether you can get into a museum pretend idea. It doesn't affect the sport or the outcome. It just is saying, hey, you did a great job.
Yeah. It might need to be a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, case by case.
Okay.
Let the board vote.
Let the board vote. Yeah.
Wow. We came a long way.
We did.
I hear what you're saying, though. You don't want any ne'er-do-wells in there.
Yeah, I don't want the people who are doing creepy things.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay. All right. Justice for Pete.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay. I think I had one more debate. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, so there was this British actor. I don't know him. Maybe you do it. Elaine.
Like
Delon.
I'm going to know the actors' names. Susie, I confuse Robert Durst and Fred Durst. You really think you're going to, without showing me a picture, just say a name and I'm going to know?
I didn't want to make assumptions.
But I appreciate that. That is nice of you, but no chance.
Your knowledge of cinema.
Oh my gosh. I just got it. I signed up. I donated to Kamala's campaign.
Yeah.
And I just got a text and it says from Kamala Harris. And I just had this moment of like, oh my God.
You didn't.
No. Yes, I did, Susie. What the hell is wrong with me?
You were like, at long last.
It's like, she texted me. No, she didn't text you, Sarah. Because I was like, how's her name in there? But that's how that works. Okay, anyways, continue.
These people do not realize that I will never donate again just because of all these texts.
Dude, it is insane. Yeah. And I already said stop. So what's happening?
Yeah, and no wonder that some woman keeps giving out my number for stuff.
Oh,
and then they're like, Cheryl, ba, 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 ba. And I'm like, that fucking Cheryl. No wonder she does, though. Because then you don't get all the stupid ass texts.
Easy, crazy.
Anyways. Well, anyway, I think he's French, not British, but his name is Alain Delon, and he died recently. And one of his last wishes was, or like post-death wishes, was to have his dog, his beloved dog, euthanized and buried with him. Right? So the dog's healthy and living.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm sorry. What the fuck is this about?
Right? So he just freaking loves this dog. He was like, listen, I've had a lot of dogs, but none like this one. And when I die, he even said it in an interview.
He's a narcissist.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because he is. He doesn't
but what
care
is the connection?
Because if you love the dog, you let the dog live. You don't love the dog so it can be with you in the spirit world because you're an Egyptian pharaoh? What the fuck?
Yes. For real.
No.
Even King Solomon was like wise to this old game.
Come on.
If you're willing to kill something so you can benefit.
Yeah.
That is not love, Elaine.
That is not. Right. Come on.
Okay, so his family had to issue a statement being like, don't worry, we're not killing the dog. We're not honoring this last wish.
Yeah, you can't make your last dying wishes
a crime.
Criminal. A crime. No.
What if I died and my last wish was murder Sarah real quick and bury us together?
Well, you know what? I did say that we have to die on the same day. It's the only way I can't have it.
That just makes good sense. We can never take a plane together now. This is why the president and the vice president can't fly together.
Well, I don't want to carry on. It'll just be called Candy Podcast? No.
Have you ever thought about that? What if Susie... I don't even want to talk about it.
Susan Louise Marie Butler Meister. I cannot.
But have you thought about it? Been like, what if Susie
Never
died?
one time. When I said all those names, never one time. I have not. But now I'm going to. Thanks a lot.
I have.
That little seed. What do you think?
Well, because you're always going down those hills on the powder and everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
You live a life of...
You're pretty safe in the old bunker over there. I'm not too worried about you.
Right. Whatever they say Bruce Lee died of. Death by, misfortune, or what was it?
Yeah, it was something. I think it was misfortune.
Whereas dangerous activities, you're going to be that guy.
Well, I mean... Safe danger. I do safe danger things. Always safe.
Well, tell that to Sonny Bono.
Yeah, but I'm not skiing drunk at night.
Misadventure.
Misadventure.
Death by misadventure.
Oh my God. Yeah, when you say it like that, I do a lot of misadventure type style things.
Yeah, and I have thought this. I thought, what would I do?
Oh my God.
How would I handle this on a personal and professional level?
The show must go on.
Oh yeah, just me being like
That
hey,
that would be painful. I could never make you. Yeah, no, you'd have to quit. We'd have to retire the show. You'd have to but you couldn't. You have to do another podcast or something.
Got to work the pole.
Yeah, that's it.
Not the poles.
It's the only option.
Singular. I'll tell you what I would rather do instead of working the poles, and that is wear my Honey Love leggings and bra.
Reliable, comfortable, fashionable.
I've been thinking about Honey Love lately because, my gosh, what dedication they have to the Brain Candy podcast. And I have dedication to them.
Official sponsor of my physical therapy sessions because that is or I should say official uniform provided by Honey Love.
Yeah, they can sponsor it though.
Yeah, it is like that. That is my thing that I wear every single time. It's my plane outfit, my travel day outfit.
Workouts.
It is my car ride outfit.
I run around town in it. The leggings are phenomenal. The bra is amazing. Very high quality, supportive, flattering shapewear. That's what they're all about. No matter what you got cooking, they got something for you and you will love it. And I love them. And they have a deal. Here's what it is. Honey Love is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras in the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/braincandy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/braincandy to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. I just wanted to know if you agreed with me. I assumed you would about the dead dog.
Yeah. That's wild.
Wild.
And total narcissist.
When something's wrong, you know how they say like sociopaths always have dogs? I mean, lots of people that aren't sociopaths.
What? I think that
not all people with dogs are sociopaths.
Yeah, that they have things that are living as accessories, as they want to own. The more power they have.
Possession.
Yes. And power over living things, I think, is desirable for.
Well, and dogs don't criticize. They don't judge you.
They, in a way, worship you.
They worship you.
And that is what
and they're loyal.
May be longing for.
That is what they long for. And so usually narcissists are very fond of dogs.
And horses, I think.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I just imagine, I'm just saying that because I imagine what do those really rich people have painted in their house?
Remember when we moved in and there was a gigantic painting of a horse that they left here?
I liked that. That was kind of cool.
I mean, it was really something. It's big.
Do you still have that?
Oh, yeah. It's in the basement, but.
You could, it's just a good size. You could paint over that and do something really cool.
Hey, come on over. You get to work, Sarah.
That would be
I don't have that kind of talent.
Well.
Like I said at the beginning, I'm just over here filing things and labeling them. That's what I do.
I feel like horse people and dog people are going to be so mad at us. But as a horse person and dog person, it's fine.
Oh, no, because there's plenty of people that just love them.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also watched the documentary on Amazon Prime about Karen Carpenter.
Tell me her story again.
Well, you know her angelic voice, right?
Yes, and she died of an eating disorder?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she was 32.
Gosh, that's sad.
She looked like she was 58. I mean, she looked really old, like if you look at pictures, but she was only 32. And she was the singer/drummer of the Carpenters. Her brother Richard was the singer, and he was the writer and composer and producer of their songs. So he was like maybe what you'd call the brains behind the operation. And then, but she had that voice that was just like, freaking talking to God. It's so good. Like, it makes me sick.
Angelic is the right word for it.
Honestly, I don't. You play a song, I don't even love it, and I'm just like transfixed because it's like this velvet, like silky, deep texture.
Yeah.
That you just you're either born with it or you're not. And she was. Anyway, this was called "Starving for Perfection."
Oh.
And
gosh.
I think that they tended to lean into that idea of like how like she wanted to be so perfect that, it killed her essentially. And that her voice was perfect and that it became like this sort of symbol of how she couldn't be perfect in this other sort of more human way. And they really blamed her mom for like her insecurities. And like in the family albums, like there'd be pictures and it would say like her brother Richard, who was a little older, and he was like prodigious. He was incredible at the piano from a very early age. So it'd say like Richard, the prodigy, and then her pictures would just say Karen.
Oh.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people can relate to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we maybe do have to.
I mean, it for sure sounds awful, the way they portray the mom. Yeah. And like they had this sort of like Midwestern sensibility and like very wholesome, especially at that time. It was like when a lot of the world was like going very hippie and like fighting against like Vietnam and governmental oversight and all this like stuff they felt was oppressive, especially young people.
Yeah.
Then like the Carpenters are like, I'm on the top of the world. Like just sort of almost like sickeningly sweet.
Yes. I could see. Yeah. And that is this idea of perfection, this virtuous, perfect, clean.
Even when she started being asked about her weight, because it got down to like 80.
Oh.
And she was still like being interviewed and stuff. And they would be like, yeah, so like your weight got really low. And like, what was that about? And she was just like, you know what? I was just pooped. She would use like that sort of terminology of the Midwestern, like, oh, shucks, we were just pooped out.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't true.
Yeah. Just minimizing it. And
yeah. What a loss, though. And that was like the first time the world sort of even knew this was a thing. Do you feel like we've come a long way with eating stuff?
Yes and no. I feel like we've come a long way in our knowledge of how to treat eating disorders, how to work with them, how to just that it is a mental illness, and like understanding addiction in a different way, and that is separate, and we treat it differently now. I think the way that we treat it is much better, but I think that we live in a society that makes us focus more on looks. Like it's tough. There's a lot, on one hand, a lot of acceptance, but then we also are getting messages that, I don't know, of the opposite. And just in so many ways.
This is probably controversial to say, but that's what I do. Do you ever, obviously these things are a spectrum, and it's not like one day you become an addict or someone with an eating disorder or whatever, that they're insidious and they sort of grow slowly, the creep over time before it spirals. But like, I don't know why, but it seems strange to me that eating disorders are something that people more readily say, like, oh yeah, I had an eating disorder. Like women in particular. Women tend to be like, yeah, I had an eating disorder or whatever. But first of all, I guarantee you most of those people did not have anywhere close of the severity of like what Karen was dealing with.
Right.
But then you don't hear that same thing about like alcohol. Nobody's like, yeah, so I had alcoholism. Like it's not treated
maybe it
the
is.
same.
I agree with you. I think it's stigmatized in a different way, or it's seen. I think it's who the not who the people who are associated with that illness are, or like who comes to mind when you think about that. I'm saying that all terrible, but I think when we think of addiction, we have been conditioned to see it as, by how it's been portrayed in the media, by, fucking shows like Law and Order Special Victims Unit, that it looks like somebody on the street shooting up, and it's scary and dark and dirty, when there's a whole range of types of drug use and addiction. And then when we think of eating disorders, you're often thinking of, and you get this image of somebody like maybe Karen Carpenter, it feels like this white lady illness, when we know that
That's what I'm saying.
there are so many people who struggle with eating disorders, and it doesn't just look like one type of person.
But you're right. Like, I feel like this sounds so weird, but that's what it feels like. They're almost like, it's not stigmatized when someone is saying it that way. They're
the
almost
same
saying
way,
like, I was in pain, and for like 2 weeks, I ate less than I normally do. Honest to God, that is what I see when a lot of these gals talk about it.
And maybe because it feels like something that almost, I think for some time, so many people look at that as desirable,
and disciplined.
And it's
and
so
willing
messed
to
up.
sacrifice to conform to societal norms.
Yes. And there's some like virtue and pride.
That is, and those people
terrible.
are in a different category for me than people who are just like,
oh, for sure, I would agree with that. Yes,
Karen Carpenter, etc., where it's just like
because
nothing you say.
Right. It is a mental illness. It is something that really gets in there and changes your beliefs and affects things where you can't have a meal in a regular way. Your relationship with food and your body, it's so different, and it needs to be addressed in a medical way. And that's different
and they did
than
a good job in
disordered eating.
That's right. That's what I'm saying, is that a lot of people who have disordered eating will then call it this label that to me is something different. I think to the medical community, is something different.
It is something different. In the same way that I have anxiety is different than I am an individual that suffers from generalized anxiety disorder. That is a different thing. We all get anxious. We all have anxiety.
Yeah.
We all have. Yeah, it is different. OCD is not, I need everything to be in order. OCD is, I need everything to be in order, or my whole family will die. And if I don't keep it in order, everyone is going to die and something terrible will happen, and I will have a panic attack I'm convinced something bad will happen. That's not what you feel like with your rainbow color books, please.
Yeah, and this is my gripe about people that lately who have really, really wanted a label. They've really wanted to say they have this or that because they want people to know that they struggle, they have suffering, whatever. But then by claiming that label, they dilute the meaning of the word, whether it's narcissism or all those phrases that you hear on TikTok all the time.
Right. This feels a little bit like, I feel like we see this when there is a desired change, that we see people go to extremes, and then it's almost like the general population and everybody would kind of settle in the middle. And I feel like people see this with, people wanting to identify themselves as non-binary. People being like, what? Everybody's not non-binary. Well, you know what? If we feel like this, then you know what? Let's just show people that there's an option. And yeah, everybody's non-binary. And then people will just like be extreme for a little bit. And then, it dismantles it. That is the better way to say it. It dismantles it. So I think there's a little bit of that as a society, we naturally do, that pendulum swings in the other direction and it swings far and then naturally sort of settles in the middle. But we have to be how do I put this? Like, we have to be accurate in our terms, and we have to, I think raising awareness is important, and we've done a good job of that. But now to respect the individuals that are dealing with those mental illnesses and disorders, like, we can't just all claim that. Be thrown
I'll tell you
around
what I want to
labels.
raise awareness about.
Yeah.
Mosh bars.
Delicious. They are now in every bag, because when you are somebody who engages in all of those safe danger activities, you need to stay fueled and you need your mental sharpness.
That is true.
Yeah.
And they are delish.
And sometimes when you're out playing 18 holes of disc golf on the weekends, you don't realize that shit is going to take you like 3+ hours, because maybe you're not that good and maybe you lose your disc a lot in the tall grass and you need to refuel.
In the tall grass. Yes. And even if you're not doing that, like me, if you're just living a normal life, free of misadventure.
Yeah. Sending kids to school.
Yeah, you still need your mosh bars, and they are so yummy. You may have heard about them on Shark Tank. Patrick Schwarzenegger.
They were on Shark Tank?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I love Shark Tank.
I love Shark Tank. And they donate a portion of their proceeds to fund gender-based brain health research, women's Alzheimer's movement. We love that. And they're just trying to change the world and create a conversation about brain health through food, education, research. Please. That's what we're trying to do, Patrick and Maria.
Yes, we love that.
I love them. They have plant-based bars. They have the old traditionals. We love them all. Great for protein. If you want to find ways to give back to others and fuel your body and your brain, Mosh bars are the perfect choice for you. Head to moshlife.com/braincandy to save 20% off plus free shipping on either the bestsellers trial pack or the new plant-based trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on either the bestsellers or plant-based trial pack at moshlife.com/braincandy. Thank you, Mosh, for sponsoring this episode.
Yes. Now I'm hungry for a lemon bar.
Now what? Oh, I thought it was funny. I wanted to mention. I just saw on like Instagram this like throwback to, you probably saw it on 90s Anxiety, that Instagram.
Oh, I love that Instagram.
Did you see the guy that beat the record for like most cigarettes smoked at once?
No, but I know those images. I remember it. I feel like those were popular during the days of the no smoking dare program. They would have a picture of a guy with like 25 cigarettes in his mouth. Is he dead of lung cancer or what?
Well, I can't find what he's up to now, but here's the scoop. This guy named Stefan Sigmund, he smoked 800 cigarettes in 6 minutes.
Oh, no. I'm that actually is making my throat dry. And
you should Google it because you can look at the pictures. He put them in this like circular device, like a funnel. And so there's 800, and then it funnels all the smoke through one hole into his mouth like a lunatic.
Like a lunatic.
And he did it in 6 minutes. But guess what? I was shocked to learn the world records has limits, and not just about age.
Oh.
They will not stand for gluttony.
Oh. The most of eating something?
Or consuming something.
Really?
Yeah. And they were like, how dare you, Stefan? You know as well as
Philip
we
Morris
do.
would eat that shit up.
Literally. For real. They said, Stefan, no go. You don't get a world record because you are a glutton. You make us sick.
Well, I kind of get that.
Yeah. They said, okay, but here's what cracked me up. So I'm reading this article. This was in the LA Times archive. After I saw it on 90s Anxiety, I had to get the scoop. But then in the article, it lists like all these people that did get world records that are like ridiculous. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love this shit.
All right. This is a guy named Monsieur Mangetout, the Frenchman with a stomach doubling as a junkyard. Since 1966, he has eaten, as part of an iron-rich diet of 2 pounds a day, 10 bicycles.
No!
7 TV sets. 6 chandeliers, a shopping cart, a computer, and a low-calorie Cessna. Also, 1 coffin, handles and all.
No!
Without a body in there.
Oh, thank God. Because that would be crazy. Oh!
That's just one.
My God. How? Your teeth. You're got to be swallowing things whole.
Yeah, what is he doing?
I can't. I'm actually going to... I kind of feel like I'm getting sick. Like, how does this not...
Right.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, where's the article on him?
Holy shit. Okay, these kind of stories actually are very helpful for me because they curb my anxiety in a weird way. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, what if I was like a kid who ate crayons and shit.
Oh yeah, the muffin
Play-Doh. And like what if I'm like filled with lead or something like that? Meanwhile, this motherfucker's eating microwaves and televisions and he's fine. Stuff that definitely is labeled do not dispose in like a normal trash can, and he's ingesting it. Okay,
then there was this
we're
guy.
all fine.
I like this story
We're all
too.
fine.
Roy Sparky Sullivan. He's a former Virginia park ranger, but he was struck by lightning 7 times. Okay, that's horrific and everything. But what really surprised me was that Sullivan died by suicide in 1983 after apparently being smitten by love and striking out. You were struck by lightning 7 times, but then this hooker says no thanks, and you end it all? What?
He seems like a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me kind of guy.
How so?
Because lightning, when you especially as a park ranger, you know what to do.
Oh, you think he was asking for it?
Absolutely. You are hiking above the tree line in a storm situation. You should not be doing that. There's no reason why a park ranger should be struck by lightning multiple times. This guy didn't have all of his wits about him.
Okay, you're questioning his mental capacity. All right. What about Mel Lastman of Ontario? He went to the Canadian Arctic and became the first drummer to sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo.
I mean,
it's pretty good sales.
It is kind of funny.
This article is old. That's why they use the term Eskimo. I forget what we're supposed to say now. Inuit?
Yeah, or
okay.
It depends on where they
right.
are.
I don't know all those names.
Yeah.
Native.
And maybe First Nation people if it's in Canada.
First Nation, no, it was Alaska.
Oh, Alaska. Yeah, maybe Inuit.
At any rate, he has a refrigerator now, that guy. Then, how about...
I think there are areas of Alaska where refrigeration might be necessary. It's not always cold all the time.
It's not that funny. Yeah.
So...
Everyone in Alaska has a fridge right now.
Yeah.
How funny
Come
is
on.
that?
Right. I saw True Detective. They all have fridges.
There is a guy who hasn't spoken to his wife in 47 years.
Oh, my God. These stories are ridiculous. Could you imagine? I bet she's like, thank fucking God.
Who?
The wife.
Oh.
He
right,
didn't say anything interesting anyway.
Oh. All right, yeah, so whatever.
I do understand that again, even though, but I do think that they should just give credit to that youngest woman to ever sail around the globe, circumnavigate the globe.
I know.
On boat.
Yeah, because the article was sort of parsing how the world record decides, like, what's acceptable, what's not, what's too risky, what's like, because that's what they said about the children thing is like they don't want to encourage, they don't want to be encouraging people to do things that will kill them. But on the other hand, somebody ate bicycles.
Right. And a lot of the other things they do are really dangerous. And if you are a child who just does that,
you should be rewarded for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
We should make a competitor to the world records because I feel like they have the monopoly on all these. And
okay, Sarah and Susie say thumbs up.
Like everyone gets one.
Yeah.
Because why do they get to decide everything?
Brain candy best of. Show us your brain, show us your candy. We'll tell you if it's good or bad.
See, this is actually a really good idea.
Well, when we have our live show, this could be one of the things.
I like where your head is.
It'd be like Stupid Human Tricks.
Totally.
Or the Person Olympics.
Okay, Sarah, wait. Another baseball story. This was just today. I saw this, BBC. How fun is this? A catcher named Danny Jansen made history just like the other day as the first player to play for both teams in the Major League Baseball game. The 29-year-old was batting for the Toronto Blue Jays on June 26th when their game against the Boston Red Sox, was suspended because of rain. And then the next day he was traded to the Red Sox.
Oh my gosh.
And so when they played it on the following Monday, he had to play then for his opponent. And the craziest part was that he was at the plate ready to bat when they called off the game. So the Blue Jays had to get somebody else to do that bat.
That is so funny.
Isn't that weird? That's the first time in history. So he's the only person who's played on both teams for a singular game ever. I
like that fact. That is going to come up in some sports trivia at some point in time. Mm-hmm. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, you heard it here. I just wanted to share that fun fact because that's adorable.
The Blue Jays,
and then he went to the Red Sox.
And the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did he score any points in the first game? Okay.
It's not as the facts of the game didn't change. That would have been cool, though.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you do when he technically... I mean, I guess he got those points for that team at that time, so that counts.
Yeah. Yeah, it counts. The Blue Jays won that game. Okay, so I watched a grade 30 for 30 about the first woman to race in the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, cool.
This was way back in I think it was 76, 79,
really?
somewhere in there.
I
Yeah.
would have never guessed it was that long ago.
Yeah, because freaking nobody ever talks about her.
Right. Never heard of her. All I know is Danica Patrick.
Yeah.
That's it. Couldn't name another NASCAR racer.
Yeah, her name is Janet Guthrie, and she is this beautiful, very clever, articulate woman who freaking just loved racing cars.
Yes.
There isn't even a reason. She was just drawn to it and was good at it. And so she just did it. But then she got high enough where then you're on a national stage.
Yeah.
And so at that up until that point, she was funding it herself. She was going into debt. It's a very expensive sport. You usually need a sponsor or some sort of funding.
Just the tires alone. And you're
For
going
real.
through multiple tires per race. Please.
Yeah. So
I have to do a double take of the tires for my own car.
for real. Honest to God. I'm fascinated by this sport because it's amazing what they can make those machines do.
Yeah.
And then how quickly they can do it in those pit stops.
It is wild.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm how come an oil change takes as long as it does?
Lincoln told me, didn't fact check this, but he told me that the fastest pit stop was 1.8 seconds.
Oh my.
And they changed all the tires.
Oh my God.
I know. I don't know, man. The drivers really rely on the pit crew. But anyway, so she was able to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 and then needed to be sponsored. Yeah. And so she got a lot of press because of course she's a beautiful woman who's racing, but in the 70s it's a mixed bag because you're getting a lot of those doofus guys who are why isn't she making a sandwich? And then she went on Good Morning America and was we need a sponsor. We need, it's basically $100,000 for just the one race, Indianapolis 500. So Texaco stepped up and they sponsored her. And the day before the race, she broke her wrist.
No.
Yeah. And she didn't tell anybody because she knew that they wouldn't let her go.
Of course. Oh my God.
And would you believe, Sarah, that I would say the biggest kerfuffle these fucking loser guys had was what are we going to do? We say, gentlemen, start your engines.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, really? You can't find any other words like drivers or everyone or
yeah,
literally anything other than gentlemen?
Right.
It was this huge thing. What are we going to say? It's a big debate. And then the announcer said, I'm still going to say it because technically the person that starts the engine is on the pit crew. It's this guy in the back that does something to the engine. And they're all men. So fucking Janet got a lady.
Oh, nice.
With a qualification to do it.
Yes. Oh, I like her,
She's
Janet.
No, what are you going to say, you fucking idiot?
Yes.
And so I was dissatisfied with what he said in the end, but he ended, I'm mixed about it. He said, to the first woman ever to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 and gentlemen.
Oh, I don't like it.
Right, because it's
it's a qualifier. It's putting you, I don't like it.
It didn't feel I get
it.
It's
not inclusive language. It's the opposite.
It's putting her in a separate category.
Yes.
So it's
that's a separate but equal thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
I wanted them to clap for her and say first woman, yeah, let's celebrate.
Right.
But on the other hand, you could say that first and then say
and then say,
yeah, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so she raced the darn thing with a broken wrist. And you might think, well, what difference does it make you just drive? Like the amount of
tons
physical...
of difference. Tons. The vibrations alone. That is the part.
Shifts.
She
was trying to shift that darn thing with a broken wrist.
No. It actually, I'm in physical pain. I can't think about it.
Well, she came in 9th still, which she was
amazing.
Psyched to make the top 10.
That's really awesome.
She was so happy, and they made such a fuss. And then she was like, by the way, I broke my wrist. And you know, she beat Mario Andretti.
Dude.
Okay. So then, even though she gets all of those headlines and is clearly an amazing competitor, that was her rookie go, and
debut.
She still got 9th. And she couldn't get a sponsor, so she had to quit the sport. She did it one more time, and she got 5th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but basically they wouldn't sponsor her, so she had to stop, and she got
That's
a normal
insane.
job.
That would never happen now.
Never.
God.
Because money trumps everything. Like they would have to know that sponsoring this person that gets all that press is fucking worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
We're talking about her now, aren't we? I don't know any other racers from the 70s.
She's outstanding, and it's called Qualified, amazing. Which I love. I love a double entendre.
Yeah.
It's so good, and she's just so articulate and erudite and steady, and she's still alive. She's 86 now, and she's still beautiful. And they're gonna make a feature film about her next year.
Cool.
I don't know who's playing her.
Yeah, who do you think would play her?
Maybe Charlize Theron or somebody like that.
Okay.
She's tough but really pretty.
Yeah.
But what a badass bitch.
Yeah.
I love her. And
cool story.
It's sad that I didn't know about her until now.
Yeah.
What? How does that happen?
I have no idea. I feel like we should know this.
But anyway, if you want to watch that, it's fantastic and inspiring and just fun.
Good. Yeah.
I guess that's all. How did I do? Back
so
on
good.
Monday.
Learned so much. Love it.
You don't want to fire me?
No, you're hired.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, anyway, we talked about Sarah's neck blemish.
Oh, God. Can you believe the things I talk about on here?
I love it.
What's wrong with me?
It's great. It makes us all feel better because it's getting to the point where we're like, Marsha with you.
No,
thank God
we're
you have a
not.
neck blemish.
Oh, please.
And we talked about why we're fine with gambling as long as it's ethical.
And as long as it's for your own team.
Yeah. That's crazy
gambling.
that you're not allowed anyway.
Crazy.
Even though betting is allowed today, you still can't bet on your sport.
I do understand that because you know too much. It's like insider trading. But I do think you should be able to bet that you win.
Okay, but that's still insider trading.
But that's different. What team doesn't say they want to win? That wouldn't change anything about how the players play the game. If you were betting that they lose, then players could, unless you were in a little dealy with the other team. And then it was a thing.
Okay.
And you're
fine.
Giving them some
if we're going to say you can't bet on your own sport, fine. But he should still be in the Hall of Fame. It's a made up thing.
Yeah.
And he was the world record or the record holder. And if you watch it, you'd be like, that guy needs to go in the fucking Hall of Fame. He's outstanding. It's like Babe Ruth. All right. I can't believe I love sports. It's weird. Eating disorders, Karen Carpenter. It's called Starving for Perfection. World record guy. If you happen to know where that smoker world record holder is now, hit me up.
He's dead, Susie. There's no way he does not have lung cancer.
It was
and
in
died.
the 90s. Maybe it was
dead.
just one time.
Dead.
I'm going to find out now that you're acting all certain about it.
I am. There's no way you can survive after that.
Remember when Sarah said that the park ranger that got struck by lightning 7 times was asking for it?
I think in the same way that those breath holders who are going to, you know what you're doing? I'm sorry. no park ranger. If I asked 100 park rangers, what do you do? None of them would recommend doing what this guy has done.
What do you think he was doing?
He was hiking above the tree line when there was a storm on the horizon, or he wasn't timing out. He wasn't checking the weather before he goes hiking.
You think?
Yes.
So you think he was careless rather than wanting to be struck again?
Well, I didn't even consider wanting to be struck again.
I kind of thought that you were being like, he just wants attention.
No. I think he was being careless.
Oh.
And I think he was... Maybe he does want attention. Fuck, why would you... You know, the conditions for humans getting struck by lightning are pretty clear.
I've never been struck.
Right.
I'm not out there with a key and a kite.
2 people a year die, and about 6 people are struck.
How do you know that?
I looked this up after I went to the REI hiking 14ers class. Because I was like, how big of a danger is this really?
Yeah, what do we do?
And I wanted to know what do you really need to be worried about? And the thing you need to be worried about is dehydration more than anything. Because that kills more people when they're out hiking.
Wow.
So,
saving lives.
Yeah.
All right, people. Let's go. We'll see you next time.
The end. Bye.
The end.